Hello everyone, I am Park. Let's continue with a bold brainstorming session and talk about family bonds. Before formally starting the discussion, I'd like to address an issue. In the previous lecture, I criticized some thoughts or ideas of parents. My language might have been sharp and it may have made many parents feel uncomfortable or dissatisfied. In such a situation, all I can say is that I cannot avoid it because I am indeed expressing my own opinions and perspectives, discussing objective phenomena. I am a person born in the 1960s, a member of the post-60s generation. I am both a parent and a child, and my children have already graduated from college. As such, I deeply empathize and understand the complexities that arise within these family relationships and the problems that can occur. If any of you as parents feel uncomfortable or resentful after listening to this lecture, I urge you to first reflect on whether you have encountered such issues. Despite certain traditional beliefs that children should not criticize their parents, I disagree with this viewpoint. Why should we refrain from pointing out mistakes or seeking corrections? Continuing such errors perpetuates a truly lamentable situation. Since children may not speak up, let me be the one to speak whether what I say is factual. You all know in your hearts if my words offend or upset you because they convey the truth. I apologize, but I will continue to speak my mind. If you don't understand or don't want to listen, you have the option to ignore me. However, there's no need to respond with hostility. I'm merely discussing objective facts, and my viewpoints don't require anyone's approval. They are just for consideration. All right. Let's move on and continue talking about family bonds. In poor or undereducated areas and even in some impoverished countries, there is a common phenomenon where many parents have children not out of conscious choice but rather passively. What does that mean? It means that after getting married, they simply let things happen naturally, and whenever pregnancy occurs, they have a child. The birth of the child is also left to chance, and there is little hope or concern for the child's education and future. They don't care about what the child learns or how their future will be. Their mindset is mainly focused on providing food for the child, and they might send the child to school because many countries offer compulsory education and the government takes care of it, so the child is treated as a mere accessory and is raised accordingly. In many underdeveloped countries and regions, it is quite common to find families where parents don't think much about their children's future. They believe that whatever the future holds for their children is their own business, and they don't exhibit much affection or emotional attachment toward them. It's possible that they don't have a deep sense of family bonds. I once encountered such a family, and I even asked them why they had so many children when they were already struggling financially and couldn't even afford proper meals. They couldn't provide a clear answer because they hadn't deliberately planned or considered whether to have so many children. In their normal lives, they don't avoid or hesitate to talk about anything, and they don't have any concrete plans. So can you say that such people lack humanity or have no family bonds? However, their expression of family bonds appears to be uncomfortable. It seems that their relationships with others are not driven by genuine family affection but rather a result of unintentional circumstances, and they exhibit an unwillingness to take responsibility. I can't help but wonder if children grow up in such families, will they face issues in the future? Will they lack a sense of responsibility? Will they know how to approach problems and think critically? Moreover, these parents don't provide any guidance or supervision regarding their children's academic performance, attitudes, or study methods. They simply neglect them, using a popular phrase, free-range parenting, which is like leaving a wild animal to fend for itself without any care or intervention. I wonder what the quality of the next generation will be like when raised in such a manner. While society may perceive it as the continuation of the populated, we all likely understand that the quality may suffer. Many people tend to avoid discussing these issues, but I still want to speak out. The next generation raised in such conditions, at least for the majority, may become dependent and unproductive, akin to parasites. Or perhaps due to the need for survival, they may end up doing physical labor or similar work. However, as you all know, In modern society, technology is rapidly advancing and the demand for physical labor is decreasing, leading to fewer job opportunities in such fields. This society requires intellectual labor and knowledge, and it is precisely knowledge and technology that have transformed this society. Let's imagine the children growing up in such families. What skills will they possess? What will be their means of survival? As a result of these circumstances, numerous social and family problems will arise. We will address these issues later when discussing adulthood. Along with all the social and family problems, I won't delve into them further here now. Let's focus on a few expressions of hope within family bonds toward children. As for topics such as abandonment or orphaned children, those are indeed minority occurrences and we won't dwell on them further. The most significant issue we currently face in human life and the most influential aspect is how families with high expectations for their children, hoping they will excel and achieve greatness, should go about changing themselves. As parents, how can they correctly recognize their problems? Many times, human social relationships involve numerous superficial and deceptive phenomena. Even if everyone remains silent, it doesn't mean those issues do not exist. Many people are aware of the current state of affairs or the existence of such situations, but they are compelled by so-called traditions, certain societal propagations, and even the direction of public opinion, which hinders them from speaking up. However, not speaking about it doesn't mean it doesn't exist. Moreover, you know that such contradictions, if left unaddressed for a long time, can eventually erupt. After understanding the different aspects that can manifest in family bonds, we need to examine ourselves, our family relationships, and our performances in various aspects. As mentioned earlier, the most crucial point of discussion is about the normal family with the desire for their children to excel. Now let's revisit this topic and assess the objective conditions, because wanting your child to excel requires various objective constraints or conditions to be fulfilled. In the context of family bonds, there is nothing wrong with aspiring for your child's success. The real issue lies in how we go about achieving it. To put it bluntly, how can we ensure our children grow up healthily, excel in their studies, and become intelligent individuals? As parents, not every parent, not every family possesses knowledge and culture, and not all of them can live happily. This is not realistic for most families. What is more important is continuous effort and learning. After having children, many people give up on the idea of learning and making an effort, and this is the most frightening phenomenon for parents. Children are the hope of the family, not the hope for laziness or an excuse for not trying hard. Therefore, while we talk about family affection, we are also encouraging those who are parents to change their mindset in family relationships. There is an important but often overlooked phenomenon. Many parents, after having children, stop wanting to learn and make efforts. It's as if having the next generation means they have their subjects and they see themselves as emperors, expecting their children to fulfill all the efforts and struggles while they just supervise them, essentially acting as rulers. Children are expected to serve their parents from a very young age, and they are often burdened with tasks beyond their capabilities, which I once referred to as enslaving the children. This phenomenon was quite common 50 years ago. But has anyone ever thought about this? If you don't make an effort and strive to learn, what will you be able to teach your children? Many people might have habitual thinking, always believing that what they think and do is right. However, when your child grows up and doesn't meet the expectations you had for them, do you still believe that you were right? At that point, most people start complaining about their children not trying hard enough, blaming society, and never admitting their own mistakes. Isn't this the current situation for most parents? Taking a step back, if you believe that everything you do is right, then why haven't you achieved your goals? As parents, are you willing to answer such a question? There's nothing wrong with wanting the best for your children and setting high expectations for them, but have you lived up to those standards yourselves? As parents, there are two issues to consider. The first issue is whether the goals you set for your child, such as wanting them to become successful and accomplished, are realistic. Are these objectives grounded in in practicality, or are they driven by your dreams and fantasies? You must understand that if you want to nurture your child to reach a certain level of achievement or to establish themselves in society, what are the fundamental requirements for that? If you don't even grasp these basics and instead only focus on arranging numerous extracurricular activities like art or piano lessons, is that what you consider to be the starting point? I don't know what you think about this, but you need to provide your child with fundamental guidance and education, which are essential elements in all family relationships. However, it doesn't mean that if you make your child learn everything from an early age, they will automatically excel and become child prodigies. This is a big mistake and a misunderstanding. The second issue is by making your child learn many skills from a young age, how can you be certain that they will excel in all of them? This is not just a matter of wasting money. Have you considered the possibility that your child may develop a rebellious attitude if they resent these activities? While your intentions as parents might be good, you also need to understand and know your child, their traits and characteristics. Are they genuinely interested and suitable for learning the skills you are actively arranging for them? So from the very beginning you were mistaken. You didn't observe or understand your child's traits and characteristics. What you should be giving them is encouragement and guidance, while also assisting in understanding their personality, cognitive abilities, and thinking patterns. This is one of the most crucial methods of parenting, understanding your child. So from the very beginning you were mistaken. You didn't observe or understand your child's traits and characteristics. What you should be giving them is encouragement and guidance, while also assisting in understanding their personality, cognitive abilities, and thinking patterns. This is one of the most crucial methods of parenting, understanding your child. When a child is very young, they don't understand much, but as they start to become aware, what they need is your help. There will be many questions, and you should patiently explain and cultivate good thinking habits for them. However, most parents fail to communicate and understand their children and instead adopt a commanding attitude, treating their instructions as if they were decrees based solely on their assumptions and viewpoints. Therefore, educating a child starts from the most basic and foundational period, emphasizing the cultivation of their thinking patterns. Without this approach, your child's development will be beyond your control. Many parents tend to believe that they have absolute authority like emperors, where their children must obey whatever they say. However, this is not the case. Children have their psychological processes and the ability to make judgments about right and wrong. We should not overlook their reactions to things and everything around them. Although these responses might be childish, innocent, and immature, they mark the beginning of their thought patterns forming. If you fail to give importance to this stage of development, the future will be beyond the control of your parents. It is natural for parents to have some control over their young children. However, it's crucial not to use phrases like "it's for your good" to justify personal biases and fantasies. Instead, parents should realistically consider their child's unique traits and personality to guide them towards a better path. Success in this depends on the efforts parents put into understanding and supporting their child. It is natural for parents to have some control over their young children. However, it's crucial not to use phrases like "it's for your good" to justify personal biases and fantasies. Instead, parents should realistically consider their child's unique traits and personality to guide them towards a better path. Success in this depends on the efforts parents put into understanding and supporting their child. You should never assume that just because you spend money on your child's education, they will automatically excel and reach the level you desire. Numerous real-life lessons prove otherwise, and you can find examples everywhere if you look for them. This approach is futile. Therefore, during a child's initial stage, especially in early childhood, you should recognize the importance of their thinking patterns. You must also understand how to genuinely help your children, otherwise it's all just empty talk. Education is a fundamental obligation towards a child and should begin during their early childhood, which serves as their starting G-point parents need to have a clear understanding of this stage. Providing random guidance without understanding the child's needs and interests can be harmful rather than helpful. It's important to be thoughtful and attentive to a child's individual development and interests. The starting line for a child begins with you. With your basic health and education, you have an obligation and responsibility to assist the child so they can embark on the correct path to a successful life from the very beginning. However, this path is not one where ignorant parents blindly dictate and force their children to learn certain skills thinking it will lead to the desired outcome. This journey is challenging, and the impressions, language, and even some of your views that you leave with your child at the beginning will shape their entire life. Don't think of it as a simple matter. It determines everything in your child's life. Many young parents have also studied parenting and educational knowledge, but they often overlook the most critical issue: whether their thinking patterns are correct. If you lack appropriate and positive thinking patterns, everything you say or do will be chaotic, leaving your child feeling lost and confused. You are right. The points mentioned about the early stages of educating children are essential to consider. Regardless of whether people accept these perspectives, it's crucial to reflect on whether they hold truth and validity for those children from impoverished areas or poor families. There is hardly any talk of proper enlightenment education. Their poverty may be a contributing factor to this lack of educational opportunities. As a result, we cannot predict the path that these unsupervised children will eventually take. However, one thing is certain: they have received little to no family education from an early age. This is the most lamentable aspect. Everything in life has causal relationships and is interconnected. The relationship between parents and children, a child's enlightenment education, the support and obligations of the family towards the child. All these elements are closely related and inseparable parts. However, how many parents truly recognize and understand this, and how many can genuinely help their children find the right path to be free in this reality? There are very few parents who can achieve this. So in today's lecture, I emphasize the importance of starting from enlightenment and how it should be done. Whether you are willing to listen or not, I believe this is the reality that exists. Summary 1. Education for children begins during the enlightenment period, which is their true starting line. 2. As parents, if you genuinely aspire for your children to succeed, you must strive to learn and cultivate a positive and correct thinking pattern. Otherwise, you won't be able to effectively help your children. Alright, this lecture will end here for now. I hope parents will seriously contemplate the discussed topics. In the next lecture, we will continue. Friends who are interested in my lectures, please click to subscribe and click on the little bell. At the same time, the links to the Big Tree Thinking Model Theory ebook and the Big Tree Thinking Model and Junior High School Mathematics lectures are here below. Friends can click on the link to watch related free lectures. Thank you all.